Alrighty, so at this point we have the patient connected with all of the equipment. So the electrodes are put on and the inserts are also put on. And so what we're going to look for here on the screen are some different indicators to look at how well everything is set up. So if we look down here at the very bottom where it says electrode contact and it has these 4 green icons, this just means that all the electrodes are connected. It does not mean that the impedance is good. And so once we're connected here, I want to actually check the impedance. Now this usually takes a minute to load up, and so the goal here is for everything to be under 5. It can be under 8 and still be okay, but ideally we're under 5, and this looks really great. So our ground electrode has an impedance of 1, non-inverting is 0, inverting 1 is 1, and inverting 2 is 3.5. So these are all really good impedance levels. They can fluctuate a little bit, and usually the longer they sit on a patient, they actually come down a little bit lower. And I had just put these on the patient for this video. And so once we're confirmed here, we're going to close out of that. Everything's looking good. Another thing to look for here on the top right, this little blue dot, this just means that Bluetooth is connected and everything is working well. And then this little battery icon right here is the battery that's in the Vivosonic specifically. And so we have a rechargeable battery in there and we have an extra one, so make sure you're swapping those out if the battery gets too low, and always keep one on the charger so that you always have one that's fully charged and ready to go. So now we're going to go ahead and start running for our patient. So our target level is 80. We're at 2000 hertz tone burst, and I'm going to start. And so as it starts, the right ear was selected. I can see my EEG monitor here, so how much the patient is moving. If the patient, especially with our littles, are very active, you'll see that go a little bit more, versus if they're sedated or asleep, that will be a little bit less. And so you can just kind of monitor that as we go. And then right above that, you're going to see how many sweeps are happening. And so you'll see that within our couple of channels. Now I'm going to scroll over here to the right. Now this is a little tricky part of this system. So if you see this line that goes all the way from top to bottom here around 0, I want to grab anywhere on the line. It can be here, it can be higher up on the line, it doesn't matter. I want to grab with a click, a left click here, and I'm going to pull it to the desired time window that I want. Usually for 1000 hertz and 500 hertz are lower frequencies. Those are a little bit later. I'm actually going to pull it all the way to 20 milliseconds so that I have enough of a time window to see a shift. Versus for 2000 and 4000 hertz, I'm going to pull it to about 15 milliseconds because that's usually enough time to see the wave 5 shift as we move along. And so I'll do that. Now we have another system called the Eclipse. It will actually adjust left and right at the same time. Here you have to adjust them individually. Okay, so I'm going to look back over here. I've got about 1500 sweeps. That is more than enough in a patient that is sitting still and quiet, so I'm going to stop. And typically we're going to repeat that. So I'm going to go ahead and start again, and we're going to repeat it. We'll look at some analysis parameters in the next video, like our statistical start and end and where wave 5 should be labeled. A couple of other things I want to look at while we're running here. You'll see this Y-axis button here above the left ear right in the middle. I can adjust my scaling a little bit. You'll see if I click down, it makes the waves look bigger. And if I click up, it makes the waves look smaller. I would keep it in our 0.20 to 0.30 range. Don't make it any bigger or smaller than that. Otherwise, you're probably not actually seeing the ABR response that you're looking for, and it's probably just noise or something else. So sometimes if I have a hard time, especially closer to threshold, finding my wave, I will adjust it just a hair to see if I can just see it a little bit better, but otherwise I don't change it much more than that. We're looking to get around 800 to 1000 sweeps, so we're good here. I'm going to stop. And I want to switch to the other ear. So where it says right ear, I'm going to click left, and we're going to start on the left side. So it's going to do the same thing, and I'm also going to have to adjust my time window. So I'm going to grab anywhere along the 0 on the gray part, not where the waveform's actually happening, and I'm going to also drag it to 15. I want them to be the same. Now if I want to move waveforms around, I can move them here. So I just grab the handle and move it. This system's a little tricky because say I'm going to label this waveform here and I've got another one running on the other side, it's going to highlight the last one where something has happened. So if I go ahead on this one in just a second, I'm going to stop it and start and then act like I'm going to label on this first right one. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to go over here to try to label this right one. And as I go up here to label, it's going to jump off and all of a sudden I'm on this other waveform. That's where it kind of will mess you up. So just wait until it starts where it populates itself and starts running. And then we'll go back and click on the handle that we're actually trying to label or whatever you're trying to do with the waveform. Say there's a wave we don't want. So I'm going to click this 80. Say I didn't like it. I want to hide it, but I don't want to delete it. I go up to this top here and I'm going to hit the H button and it makes it disappear off the screen, but it's not gone forever. And all I have to do is click the H button again and it just pops right back up. And so that's a really nice feature. This S up here is sorting it. So as we do different parameters, like different intensities or frequencies or click rates or things like that, it will sort them for us. C is it sorts by clinical criteria, and the S is sorting it in order of collection. So what order you collected the waveforms. So some different ways that you can sort information here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the right ear just because it was a little bit better. So now I'm at 80. If I'm doing a true threshold search, I'm going to decrease by 20 dB, and we're going to start again. And you just repeat this. And so we're going to get smaller and smaller. So you'll go 80, 60, 40, 20, 0, until we get no response, until there's no wave 5 left. And then you'll increase it by 10s. You can also fine tune it by 5s, but a lot of times we don't have a lot of time in the clinic to do so, and so we won't do that. We'll just keep it down by 20s, up by 10s, so you're bracketing in that sense. One thing I also like about the Vivosonic Integrity, this system here, is that if you need to go down a little bit more, it will stretch it out, whereas on the Eclipse, you only have this amount of space on the screen to work with, so it makes it a little challenging. Okay, for time's sake and for the video, I'm going to go ahead and just decrease it again. But just know that you should replicate everything, and then the next video, I'm going to label some of these waveforms. A lot of times I'll do the labeling as we go. But you can certainly do it after the fact as well. We've got 280s. Ideally, we would have 260s. Now we're going to get 240s and so on and so forth. Again, I'm keeping an eye on my sweeps over here. I want to make sure that I'm getting at least 800 sweeps, if not more. 800 to 1,000 is usually pretty ideal. We hit the 800 mark. I'm going to go ahead and stop. I think it's kind of there, so we're going to go ahead and decrease to 20. Again, you should be replicating these, but I just want to kind of show you what it would look like when we're doing a threshold search. While this one's running, I'll go ahead and label wave 5, and then we can go back on the next video and look at a little bit more. I'm going to click this arrow to scoot back up to the top. So I'm going to click on the waveform I want to label. I'll click my 5 and just place it right where I like. Same with 60. I'll click the handle 5 and label it. 40 the same way. So we're looking to see a shift. It should become later and later and later as we go. This 20 also looks to be about here, so we're still seeing that shift, which is nice. A strong deflection here, which is also really nice. Again, ideally we want to duplicate that. Let's go down to 0 and see if we still have a response. There are also correction factors that are applied to this. So if I get it at 20, that doesn't mean that the threshold itself is at 20. So we're going to subtract a value from that to get what would be considered the dB EHL, or estimated hearing level. So we're all the way down to 0 here. Again, ideally you're duplicating this. We'll look a little bit more at the analysis here in the next video, but I'm going to go ahead and stop this one here, and let's go back up to 10. Let's say there was no response. And so once 10 starts to run, it's going to drop under the 0 here, but I'm just going to switch their places because I want to see the intensity shift. So I want to see 20, 10, and 0 as we come down. We'll put some statistical start and end values on in the next video as well. But we'll get this one run, and then this is basically your clinical comp and basically what you're going to be doing anytime you run a threshold search with an ABR. Again, you just want to make sure you're duplicating at each frequency and ensuring that there truly is a response there. Okay, and we will stop for here. And so the next video we'll go into a little bit more analysis of where we think wave 5 is, and is it here in all the responses? We will see once we start putting some more statistical analyses on this.